Afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Ron. How are you?
Oh, all the better for being in profit after last weekend. What did you think?
Pleasantly surprised. I suppose I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're going to find winners. Obviously, I should say. But yeah, racing doesn't work.
yeah,
We both know racing doesn't work like that. But we made how much profit did we make through a fictitious £10 stake? 80 something quid.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it wasn't
Well,
bad at all. And that was me after me saying I'm going to bin flat racing in October for the podcast.
yeah,
Classic.
it's a strange old world. I mean, you and I know, and I'm sure
Yeah,
people listening or watching know as well that you do the same things day in day out, and some days you can't find a winner, and some days you can't find a loser. Um,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
but they're not machines. They're using all the old sayings. Everyone's they're not machines. They don't run a
That's
rail.
what makes it interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah. If everyone knew every winner of every race, there'd be no bookmakers. You wouldn't be able to have a bet. Racing would disappear from the face of the earth,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have to look at our ugly mugs. Just like to point out, by the way, it's Halloween today as we record this.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
Ron and I may look like we're wearing Halloween,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
but actually not. We're not. This is actually us, I'm afraid. Right,
This is actually us. Yeah, yeah.
loads and loads of things to talk about. I've actually sort of cut it down to four. I originally had like loads and loads of things. Bore them to tears if we do all that lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Good
we're
enough.
going to
You
start
might
with the
still
sale
do.
of white birch. Now,
Yeah.
what did you make of that?
Well, I guess if I had 300 grand lying around and I wanted to buy a racehorse, I think it's a bit of a bargain.
Hmm.
And the reason I say that is you can get the Tat sales book two, say,
Hmm.
and you can go and buy yourself a yearling for 300,000 guineas uh, that might never see a race course.
Yeah.
Or you might go and get yourself a breeze up for about the same price, produces a great time on the day, and then turns out to be a bit of a pudding.
Hmm.
Now, Wathanan Racing, they spent 300 grand on a horse last year called that they then called the Catalyze when it was a 2-year-old. It raced twice for them, and it was last seen running in a Class 4 juvenile at Catterick.
Nice.
It was a race that had been divided. I think it placed third. Anyway, 2 days ago, Catalyze went through the ring at the horses in training sale,
Hmm.
and someone picked him up for 32,000 quid.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be running in Class 5 handicaps next year for his new owner,
Yeah. No.
Dab Hand Racing, I think they're called. Whereas White Birch, last time out, finished 10 lengths behind the winner in the Arc de Triomphe,
Yeah.
won the Tattersalls Gold Cup, finished third in the Derby, and it was interesting to read that the underbuyer, or the underbidder for the horse, was Harold Kirk.
Hmm.
Now, Harold Kirk is Willie Mullins' go-to man
Yeah.
when it comes to the sales ring. And the fact that he was the underbidder must mean something. Oh, I was really glad that Jamie Osborne stuck to his guns, paid the 300 grand. I think he's a bargain.
All we've got to do now is find an owner. He might have done so.
Yeah.
He might have done so between then and today. To be fair, we never know whether we're going to agree or disagree on these things in advance.
No.
I agree with you. I put it down as a sort of those who remember Blackadder, a cunning plan from the Osbornes.
Oh, the cunning plan, yeah, yeah.
I suspect we'll see this horse running abroad quite
Yeah,
a lot, where the prize money is sadly, but realistically, far better than it is here.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just had a look at the Hong Kong Vase, which is coming up in December. That's got £2.49 million in prize money. That's first to sixth or whatever, not just for the winner. If he wins one of those, no, not necessarily Hong Kong Vase, won a race of that standing,
Yeah,
then he's paid his 300,000 guineas and more.
I know.
And he certainly seems capable of doing that if they campaign him. Also, if you get the right owners, I'm lucky I get to go on some of these things. They get taken out there, the horses flown out free of charge, there's no entry fees,
Yeah.
the owners and they are put up in 5-star hotels and taken out for meals to get, quite frankly, to get the best horses there.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're very successful at it. So if I had 300,000 guineas in my pocket, I just checked my Monzo account and I haven't.
You haven't.
Then it would have been a sorely tempting purchase, because if you've got the money to spare, I suspect, could be proven wrong, if they can keep him sound, then he'll pay back.
Yeah,
He'll win more than he cost,
I think so too, yeah.
and
Yeah.
his own.
What do you think Mullins would have done with him? Sent him hurdling?
He's gonna. Yeah. Well, Jamie says he's going to get him gelded,
Yeah, yeah.
which they know more about the breeding side than I ever will. So
Mm.
I wouldn't question it. But he beat Auguste Rodin
Yeah, he did.
here, and he's gone off at stud at some ridiculous figure and will make more off than he ever made on the track. So
Yeah, yeah.
I am surprised that they decide to geld him, but it may well be that his breeding is not fashionable at the moment, and therefore you're better to race him than you are to retire him. But hopefully they have some fun. This time next year, I'm not going to make a note in my calendar because I can never remember how to use it anyway. I wonder if we'll be sitting here going, White Birch, you remember that? He's just won another 400,000 to go with the 350,000 he won the week before, and he's paid for himself and then some. So best of luck to everyone concerned with that, and look forward to watching him racing around the world.
You do know he'd win a champion hurdle doing handsprings, don't you?
Well, we might find out, but I rather doubt it because the prize.
I doubt it too. I mean, I looked. Funnily enough, I just took a look at what Isterbrack had been rated on the flat, and he was 89, and White Birch is 120. So imagine if they put him over a hurdle.
It's not impossible.
He could jump.
It's not impossible. You never know. It's down to
No, it's not. No.
So we'll keep a track on him and see how he does for the rest of his career. Moving on, I put down something called the Killoran Report, which is not what
Killoran Report. Yeah.
Basically, an ex-jockey who now works high up in the industry has put together a long-winded and very detailed, I have to say, report on the current state of British racing. We could bore you to tears with all of it. Ron might be about to bore you to tears with all of it. I don't know.
Probably.
But
I've only got 3 paragraphs.
all I picked out was a bit at the end because that's the bit that interests me. And I quote, "What is needed is a strategy that puts punters and owners back at the centre. Sport's most important stakeholders, yet too often the most marginalised. Get that right, and every other stakeholder will benefit." Now that's the bit that interests me. As you know, Horse Racing Bettors Forum have been arguing for years that punters are marginalised, to put it politely.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have to say there that the BHA, with their current leadership, have been far more open to listening to our ideas, far more open to accepting that the punter pound is. Try saying that the punter pound is part and parcel of the funding of the sport. I think they learned that with the affordability checks when they took a big hit from that. I think it might have woken them up with a sort of cattle prod effect that actually, hang on a minute, we need a strong and healthy betting market or we don't get the income that we need to run the sport. So that's my view on it. What did you think? I've waffled on enough.
Well, we've both been saying this for years, and certainly long before you became chair of the HBF. But as we've said a million times, nobody wants to lose their slice of a pie. That's now basically being cut up into slivers rather than slices. And again, like we always ask, who's going to give up their sliver of pie? Because some are going to have to do that. Some of these people are going to have to go out of business for the sport to thrive. Racing is losing owners and punters at a rate of knots right now. And nobody seems to be doing anything much to attract new people to the sport because they know they're on a hiding to nothing to do that. I mean, imagine trying to encourage somebody to become an owner in British horse racing at the moment when you've got lousy prize money, poor facilities when you go racing. I mean, I remember reading about some owners not even getting a hot meal when they went racing.
Yeah, I mean,
it was sandwiches and a cuppa. And you think to yourself, why would you want to be an owner in the current climate?
It'd be a tough one to make a business. How would you make a business case? I mean, you had to go with your average horse. If you went with the figures for the average horse, you'd say it costs X and you get back Y, and Y would be nowhere near what X was for your average horse. I have to say the BHA are trying, again, I'm not blowing their trumpet, but when they're doing something good, they deserve applause. Now, they're trying this Dragon's Den style that we discussed the other week. They're trying to find out what can they do to get people back on the course. And those people, the race goers, are the ones that become the potential owners in the future if their finances allow them to. I do think perhaps we had some problems, you might have the details, I don't, with regard to affordability checks for ownership syndicates. That created an issue, if I remember.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy,
They need to do something about that because I think syndicates are the only way forward, other than the...
They are,
Very
working man.
Yeah, the very wealthy that are already there spending fortunes as it is, and thank you to them for keeping the sport alive. But the future has to be more syndicates, and racing has to have a look at making that far easier to do. There are issues. We've seen syndicates that have gone bust and people have lost their money. So there needs to be plenty of legal tightening as to what can and can't be. But they do need to look at the concept of let's make this far easier, and let's get some decent horses into a syndicate. That's going to get me shot down in flames by some syndicates out there who are going to say we've got some really good horses, and they have. But there are also some horses where they're going, you can get it for £50 a year, and they're selling shares in a horse that's probably just about got four legs.
Then should be on Blackpool Beach.
Yeah, and that's not the way to encourage people to come back, even if the price is small. So I don't know what they'll do about it. But as long as they're looking at it, then I'm happy. And I've put down here, I'm on the same stuck old record with regard to all this Kaloran report. Where the customer is always wrong in bookmaker terms. Don't you think so? Every other business, the customer is always right. With bookmakers, the customer is always wrong. Well, that's how it feels sometimes. Cutting bonuses, closing accounts, adding restrictions. As we discussed just before we came on here, let's get to a stage where they have to take a sensible bet as part of their licensing conditions. And I'm not talking you and I should, well, not we've got the money, should go and be able to put £20,000 on the 10-1 shot. Of course we couldn't. That's ridiculous. And you can't expect bookmakers to take that kind of bet without second thoughts.
Unless you're JP McManus,
But a 50 quid bet in the year 2025, sadly, a 50 quid bet is not a massive amount of money.
It's not.
And yet, try that and win, and watch how quickly you get knocked back down to pennies the following week. Well,
I know.
That's got to be stopped, basically. Enough. I waffle on about the same thing every week on that because it's a bugbear of mine. Next, I moved on to, unless you want anything else to add to that, Ron?
No, that does me fine, that one, mate. Yeah.
New South Wales Chief Executive Peter Vlandis came out in the press talking about how badly run British racing is and all the things that we need to do. I'll let you take that one before I stick my tuppence worth in.
Well, I think everybody in racing and probably the government know that we've considered this racing tax idea. I understand where it's coming from, and I don't want to get political, right?
Nah.
The problem is we dug a hole for ourselves a few years ago, and now we're having to try and dig ourselves out of it. I won't mention what the hole is, but now that what's happening is the government is saying, right, well, we've got to try and accrue X number of millions and billions of pounds each year from the people that live in this great country of ours, and it is a great country, because what's happened is we turfed some of that money out a few years ago. So it is us that's got to fill the hole, right? So what they're doing is they're looking at any which way, and they've done it with VAT on private school fees for a start, which was exempt until last year. You've recently had, you recently went to the House of Commons to discuss this issue, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And how many other protests were going on outside? I'll bet there were hundreds, and I'll bet you they were all louder than the racing protest was regarding the racing tax. If we were French, we'd have filled up a 100-ton Pantechnicon full of horse manure, driven down to the Houses of Parliament and tipped the lot by the front door so they couldn't get out. But we go there with, I think there was 5 or 6 jockeys dressed in white, dragging a white horse, right, with placards saying ban the racing tax. And I believe there were motorcyclists driving round, honking their horns and all the rest of it to do with something else. But who can you help? How can you help everybody?
It's a difficult.
I heard an item on the news this morning about a 67-year-old woman who'd sat on a trolley in a corridor of a hospital, basically waiting to die. Because there aren't enough doctors. And we're worrying about horse racing. Do you know what I mean?
I think I don't go down the politics. There is a black hole needs filling. We won't discuss why because we disagree on every matter. The trouble is, on Peter Vlandis, who's the New South Wales guy, he suggested that some of the tax paid by the sport should go back to the sport because that's what happens in Australia. It basically funds their mechanism. Well, That's not going to happen, is it? That's the reality there. That's not going to happen. They're turning everybody upside down and shaking to see if there's any money left they can take. So we're not going to get that tax back. He's comparing apples with pears as far as I'm concerned, because they haven't got a tote monopoly, but they've got a very strong tote, which in turn goes back into racing and funds the sport. We don't have that luxury. So although he spoke out, the one thing I did agree with, we do need to reduce the fixtures. How we do that when the BHA doesn't own most of the fixtures anymore,
going back to the previous topic,
is a totally separate issue. He's right that there probably is too much racing, and that if you had less racing, you wouldn't need so many horses. You could potentially, I guess, you could have sponsors fighting each other to try and sponsor a race, and therefore get increased sponsorship money. Whereas at the moment, as you and I know, you're getting race courses phoning us up saying, do you fancy sponsoring this for a couple of £100 because we haven't got a sponsor?
I get it, yeah.
So that would help. Lord Allen he's all in favour of, and so am I, but we'll wait and see what he does. At the moment, the regulatory body needs more teeth. I'm not sure it's got any teeth. I've got more teeth, and that's not a good thing. What I do like the idea of, though, is that our racing people listening to and looking at what goes around the world, because pretty much every other racing jurisdiction is better than us on a funding mechanism. On a racing mechanism, no, they're not better than us at all, not a chance. No. But on their funding mechanism, they're better than us. And as long as our guys are either going out there or on the phone to the likes of Hong Kong saying, what do you do about this? What do you do about that?
Yeah.
Now, when they turn around and say we throw £1 million at it because they've got a tote monopoly, well, we don't have that luxury, so we put a line through it. But I'm sure there are things that they do better than us, and we need to be looking at everything we can do to get every single penny we can to keep racing alive, quite frankly.
Well, what you've got now on the flat is during the summer, the big meetings like York and Ascot and Goodwood and whatever, anything that's holding a festival, they're now part of the Whirlpool.
Mm-hmm.
And they are making millions from it. But is any of that being fed down to the smaller tracks? Doubt it.
I actually don't know, being honest. I doubt it as well. But I don't know, because each track's got its own shareholders, stroke owners to answer.
Exactly, yeah.
If I was a shareholder in course X, because I'm not going to name names, obviously, and I'd read in the books that they'd handed £1 million to another course to help them survive, I'd be like, well, I could have got another 40 quid out of that.
Yeah.
So a difficult one to answer.
The thing is, it's like today at Wetherby. If we had less racing, would we be having 2 and 3 runner fields to start the meeting at a national hunt track?
No,
probably not.
Theoretically not.
No.
That's the reality. I mean, I think, my own opinion, we've got to make a lot more races that are sort of win and you're in, or if you don't race in, a bit like the Potence we discussed last week with the Potence trials, qualifiers. Sorry, not trials, qualifiers. More races like that for the likes of Cheltenham, Aintree, even Royal Ascot, Glorious Goodwood, things like that. If you haven't run in at least 1 or 2 of these races, then you cannot run in the big Group 1 that you want to run in. Now, it would cause uproar. I'm quite aware of that. And I'm sure trainers would have a very strong argument. Well, actually, you can't plan my race schedule for my horse for me. I want to plan it myself. I want to go to this 7 furlong at Yarmouth that isn't a win and you're in. I don't want to go to that mile 1 at Goodwood before Royal Ascot. This is my plan, 6-week gaps, whereas you're forcing me into a 4-week gap, for want of an argument. But something like that if you want to run at the big meetings, you've got to have bothered to attend some of the smaller meetings, basically. So we get bigger fields and more competitive racing, which draws customers in, draws punters in, funds the sport, etc. It's the same circle that we discuss every week. It's getting someone to close that circle so it works.
So would you be in favour then of what's happened with the Triumph Hurdle? That you can't run a horse that's never ran before?
Yeah. Why should my horses run 3 times the hurdles, 1 twice, and then maybe finish second on the 3rd one? Get ballasted out for a horse that's never run.
Because Mullins has got 2 in there that he's never seen a race course before.
We might not get past the first hurdle. Where's the fun in that? Well, not only where's the fun in that.
They might go and win at 150 to 1.
Where's the welfare issue in that as well? Let's send a horse into one of the most competitive races of the entire season who's never jumped a hurdle in public. Now, again, I'll get struck down and abused by trainers for saying that. But we have to see what the wider public sees. if a horse that's never jumped before suddenly falls and something horrible happens, that's an open goal for Edward. So I don't think that's a sound idea at all. Anyway, on to something slightly more positive. I think, well, is it positive? I don't know. The Breeders' Cup, and I suppose the big news coming out of that, first of all, has to be Frankie's last Breeders' Cup.
Oh, I read that, yeah. Well, it's... Has somebody signed him up? Has Wathnaan Racing signed him up?
Yeah, Duo Kabashian, or however you pronounce it,
Yeah.
basically signed him up as an ambassador. I think my understanding is, it's only what I've read, he's riding at the Breeders' Cup, and then he's going to ride in 3 countries in South America.
South America, yeah.
Shortly afterwards, and then he's retiring from the saddle to take up this ambassadorial role.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, love him or hate him, he's an absolute character. There's no arguing that.
He is. Never done me any harm.
He's been a massive face of horse racing for more years than we care to count, more years than he cares to count. I'm quite sure about that. And he's a buzzy, fun kind of guy to have. Brings racing onto other pages, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Well, you can see why they've signed him up.
Yeah. Who else brings racing onto the front pages or out of the sports pages?
I can't remember anybody doing it as much as he did.
No. So I can't say we'll miss him because he's been riding America for a couple of years. Yeah. So we won't miss him because he hasn't been here. But I think the sport as a whole will miss him. But I have to say, what I said to Ron before this was, let's find 2 horses for the Breeders' Cup meeting. I was looking at going through all the races. The reality is I don't know the American form that well. And I can look at the European form and go, I think that's the best of the 6 Europeans, but it doesn't mean there aren't 5 Americans that are better than that in the same field. So we didn't want to cover all the races on every day because that would bore you to tears. So we've gone for 2 singles and a double was what I suggested. Is that what you've come up with?
That's what I've got, yeah.
You can start. Who've you got?
Like you've just said, I'm about to talk about something that would see my knowledge fit on the back of a postage stamp.
Excellent.
American racing, American tracks, and the vast majority of people in the game over there, total unknowns to me. I know they all go the same way round their racetracks, don't they? Yeah. So what I did was I had a little look around the internet, seeking a bit of expert opinion here and there, put a load of stuff together. I guess I'd back us, in inverted commas, that includes the Irish, to win the races being run on turf. And I can't see anything beating Mini Hawk. That would be my banker of the meeting. But looking for a pair to put up for the podcast purposes only, as we say, that give us a bit of a chance. I want to start with a horse called Hope Road.
All right.
The filly and mare sprint, 7 o'clock on Saturday night.
Okay.
Around about 9-2. She was moved to Bob Baffert. Now, I do know Bob Baffert. In August last year, won her first 2 races for him, then lost 4 on the trot. Now, last time they put Jose Ortiz on the horse. Bolted him. Absolutely bolted him by 2.5 lengths. He's been given the ride again on Saturday night. And I'm hoping it's back-to-back wins for him on her. My other selection would be, and I bet you, when I saw this one, I thought to myself, I bet you he does the same thing. Forever Young in the Classic.
No, carry on.
Oh, right, okay. Unfortunately, this one's only 9-2 now, opened up 8-1. There was a little bit of support, but the price has crashed because they've taken the favourite out, Sovereignty, and everything has collapsed in the betting there. But, no, I like this Forever Young. Won the Dubai Cup in February. Is a winner of 8 of 11 races and placed 3rd in the other 3. I'm thinking it must be a diamond of a 2080, that one. Won nearly 11 million quid so far in prize money, which takes us back to what you were saying about White Birch earlier on.
Yeah.
Goes and wins the race over there. Job done.
Yep.
It's another 3 million in the bank tomorrow if they can pull it off. I'm going for those 2. Hope Road in the filly and mare, and Forever Young in the Breeders' Cup Classic, both tomorrow night.
Excellent. Well, I've got 1 tonight and 1 tomorrow night.
Oh, go on.
So you have to get this thing out a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a few Breeders' Cups and I bet on a lot more than that. The reality is that the meeting opens up, and I think this European will win this race, and this European will win that race, and we're going to basically whitewash him, and then basically I walk off with a bloody nose at the end of the day. Because it never works out like that. Now, again, as I said about the Arc, and as I said about Champions Day, it is end of season stuff. Some will have been campaigned specifically for this. Some will be going as an afterthought. Some will already be over the top. Some will still be fresh. Trying to work out which is which is a conundrum that's close to impossible. So Friday night, 11:05, I believe it's PM. I was wrong about this. I get very confused with international.
It's got to be PM,
Precise, Aidan O'Brien's filly in the John Deere Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf at 11:05 PM. Precise. She's as short as 4-1 for next year's 1,000 guineas.
Yeah.
So she's clearly a decent sort. Aidan, by all accounts, thinks a lot out of her. Now, I have to be honest, I take the Ballydoyle media hype with a bit of a large pinch of salt, because everything's the next horse, the best horse that's ever been, until the next one arrives a week later. But they do think she's pretty special. I can't see anything that can get anywhere near her, and yet she's odds against. So, happy with that. That's my first one. Second one, unfortunately, takes on your Japanese friend in the classic, Sierra Leone. Won it last year as a 3-year-old, back this year as a 4-year-old. They put a pacemaker in to make sure that they get the pace they want. So they're setting the race up for him. Last time out, he ran a remarkable race when finishing second. If you actually watch the replay, he was really badly hampered early on. Really badly hampered. And he started the race 18 lengths adrift of the leaders, not necessarily the winner. Finished strongly to be beaten less than 2 lengths at the line. Now, saying a horse finished second is an eye-catching display is a strange thing to do at this level, but he was the moral victor in my eyes that day. He's available at 3-1 when I wrote this. I don't know what he is now. That seems pretty generous, to be honest with you. So, Sierra Leone in the Classic on Saturday at 10:25 PM with Sovereignty out. I'm not convinced Sovereignty would have beaten him anyway, but we'll never know, will we? So Precise tonight, 11:05. Sierra Leone tomorrow, 10:25. That's my Breeders' Cup win each and a win double. And now everyone will be delighted to hear we can move on to Saturday's racing back here in Blighty. So 107 Newmarket, Ron. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, we've got 10 juvenile fillies. So as with all these races, all I can do is look to see what the market was saying on the day. In between 2015 and 2017 inclusive, the favourite was the go-to horse, won all 3 runnings. However, since then, there's only been one winning favourite, and that was last year. But we've also had winners returning SPs of 12-1, 20-1, 11-1 and 9-1. And 6 of the last 7 winners were better than no better than third favourite. Or even worse. It's not a race you'd have great faith in, but given the record of Newmarket trainers in recent times, they've just been cleaning the thing up. I'd say the winner is front 3 on the tissue, one of Sacred Ground, Morning Rose or Classic Cuvée. Now, 7 of the last 11 winners arrived having won last time out, so that would have to remove Classic Cuvée, who finished 8th last time out. I've forgotten the race it was in. It probably wasn't a true running, but nevertheless, she only finished 8th. So I'm going to go with Sacred Ground because she's got winning form on turf. And the other one only won on Newcastle's all-weather track. I say only, but it was a pretty decent looking win. I've got to go with Sacred Ground, I'm afraid. I am worried about Morning Rose. I'm probably even worried about Classic Cuvée, to be honest with you. But Sacred Ground will do for me.
Well, I'm going with Morning Rose and I'm worried about Sacred Ground. So that reverses that conversation. Yeah, it's over a mile. It's a tough one to solve. This is going to sound stupid because she's down to 4-1. I'm still going to suggest her each way. I made a mistake last week. One was trading at about 4s. I was going to tip each way. Ended up being narrowly beaten into second at 8-1, and I'd recommended it as a win bet. So that infuriated. Had the one race. She won it by 2 lengths at Newcastle. She quickened up really nicely to go and win that day. She's a daughter of Dubowie, so there's every reason to think she should be better suited by the turf. Sacred Ground has a similar profile, but the odds, I don't have a problem with going with Godolphins. I think Dougie Costello gets to ride because, of course, William Buick's over in America.
Everybody's over in America,
So Dougie Costello might get a nice step-in ride there. Morning Rose for me at 107 Newmarket. I think 4-1. She was 5. She's come into 4s. Hopefully she drifts back out again. Even 5s, if you can get a fifth of the odds, 5s, back her each way. I can't see her being out of the first 3. Is there enough runners for 3? Or out of the first 2 even, in which case you'll get your money back if she places and a nice she wins. So that's as good a reason as any for me. Next up, we're going over the jumps and a little bit further.
Yay, at last.
Well, I try and mix and match these things. The 222 at Wetherby.
Wetherby, yeah. There's only 5 runners, so...
Sorry about that.
Profiling is pretty pointless, really. There's nothing we can do about the ground or field size, but it's still going to be a good race to watch, this one, you know. Age and weight ranges, again, got no place here. And to the market we go. Interestingly, we've had just one winning favourite in the last 10 years. And our winner is actually usually 3rd or 4th favourite. So the 1st and 2nd favourites have got a terrible record in this. Take out the winning favourite in 2020, which was the only one. And no favourite has finished better than 3rd in the last 7 runnings. I'm going to suggest we have a little punt on Take No Chances, which indeed we are. Arrives here the only horse with what I call 3 ticks. That is winning form on the ground, winning form on at the track, and winning form over the trip. Nothing else to go on, really. So the Skelton runner gets the gig for me. Round about 7-2, 4-1. That'll do. I'll take on the favourite with that one.
I'm even madder than you. I'm taking on, and that's saying something. I'm taking, Willie Mullins says Winter Fog over from Ireland for this.
Yeah, saw it.
Trading at 8-1, 4th favourite of the 5 runners. Now, even that, would you expect to see that from Mullins' horse? No, you would not. He's only rated £1 inferior to strong leader at these weights. If you take official ratings as gospel, which I don't, but you know, there are teams of people putting these ratings together, so they should know better than me. So only got £1 to find, but 4 or 5 times the price. Ridiculous. Strong leader's the obvious choice, finishing 2nd in the Liverpool Hurdle at Aintree and 4th to Gowell Road in the Cleve Hurdle at Cheltenham. He has won on his return to action before, but as I've written here, Mr. Mullins is a wily old fox. And I'm thinking, Winter Fog got a race fitness advantage as well over the favourite who hasn't been seen since, January, I think. 8-1 is the issue of I think. Is he Eckers-like? But is he good value for money when he's only £1 worse off with the favourite? Yeah, he is.
Gotta be.
He's great value for money. So that's one of those bets where you chuck a couple of quid at it and nothing more. And if you're right, you wish you'd put more on. And if you're wrong, you wish you'd put less on. But the point of this is not just that we give you winners, it's that we have a little chit-chat through it. And half the people out there will agree with me and go, yeah, I'll go and have a couple of quid on, that makes sense. Yeah. And the other half will think I'm a complete lunatic and I'm talking out my backside. But that's the whole point of this sport, is that everyone disagrees. Otherwise, we'd all be on the same in every race and have all the winners. So that's it for me. Winter Fog in the 222 at Wetherby, sorry. Ascot I've got next. Have you got Ascot next?
Yeah, 205.
Yeah, I don't know why I put those out of time order, but never mind, carry on.
Doesn't matter. What a crack of a race this is. 13-runner handicap. I love these.
He does.
And I'll be producing ratings tomorrow for the post-racing subscribed members. If you're not a subscribed member and you fancy a little look at what we're doing, just go to the postracing.co.uk website. You'll see subscribe in the top on the menu there. Just have a little look, see if there's anything you fancy. Weekend Club, the works, anything you like. Brilliant value for money, if I may say so myself. I can't find anything better out there anyway. Anyway, yeah, I'll be providing ratings for this, but from a profiling angle, I'm looking for a 7 or 8 year old. They've taken 13 of the last 20 of these. So I'm looking at one of Low de Sud, Sans Bruit, Special Cadeau, Martator, General Medrano, Western General, Petit Tonnier, Teddy Blue, Issar Dairy, or Gabrielle's Getaway. It only actually removes about 3. So not really a short list as such. The dominant weight banding though, that would be 10 stone 8 to 11 stone. I'm taking out those that fail to pass muster here. We're down now to 7. Leo de Sud, Sans Bruit, Special Cadeau, Martator, General Medrano, Western General, Petit Tonnier. 7 left. Now we trust the market. Front 4 on the tissue is a big must-have. 7 of the last 10 winners were. Taking now's last 7 and plucking out 3, we've got Load of Sud, Special Cadeau and Martator. Last year's winner was Martator, Venetia Williams. Now you say Mullins is a sly old fox. Venetia Williams is right up there with him. And I can see this one being back tomorrow. I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, this horse was punted to win the race last year. Load of Sud's been very easy to bet. Open 5-2, you can get 7-2 now. And with 13 of the last 20 winners trading 6-1 or shorter as they pass the winning post, that's always important. I've got to go with Martator to double up. I don't like the drift of the favourite. There's only been one of those winning in the last decade anyway. So I'm going to go with Venetia to double up with Martator.
I don't blame you. I've done something very similar to Ron's profiling, so I'll just rattle through it quickly. Last 15 years saw no winners bigger than 16-1. 14 of them raced 6-9. 14 were rated 135 to 160. All of them finished in the first 9 if they finished on their latest start. Using those, went straight through the field and got down to 5, which was I sort of wrote down positive start. Now, Martator won it last year, as you say, off just £1 lower in the handicap. And note Ned Fox claiming £5 off his back this time round as well. So he's effectively £4 better off. So yes, he's a serious danger, but I can't resist Special Cadeau. I think he's ridiculous value. Second to an odds-on Mullins shot last time out at Roscommon in September even. He travels over from Ireland for Henry de Bromhead. He's got a race fitness advantage over all of those ahead of him in the betting. Everyone ahead of him in the betting hasn't run this season. He has. Now, I see that as a major, major bonus. Trip and track holds no issues. He's only 7. This is only his 6th race over fences. He's won 1 so far and placed twice. Hate to say it, but Irish jumpers, generally speaking, are better than ours. Whether, sad but true, I put in brackets there. He's on offer at 11-1. Now, sorry, that's an each-way steal to me if he gets round in one.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with Special Cadeau each way in the 205 at Ascot. If he gets a clear round, I'll be surprised if he doesn't finish in the first 3. So,
well, everybody knows I'm into Dutching. The three I mentioned in the final shortlist, they will be my Dutch. But I would like to see Martator win it for everybody that has a little dabble on my single play.
See, that wasn't even scripted, but it's funny that you said that because I just remember that we're going to do part of our demystifying thing that we need to add on at the end of our podcast. And we're going to do Dutching this week. So Ron,
lovely.
Ron can explain all that to us. I had to say that because I hadn't warned him in advance, but I know he understands that.
No, I had no idea.
No. Who says it's well planned? Moving swiftly on before Ron glares at me. Ascot 310.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Another lovely handicap.
I know, I saw you.
I'm looking forward to producing ratings for this. I've got to say that the ratings over this week have been absolutely brilliant. Well, I think so anyway. The winner's been in the top 3 in umpteen races. And that's exactly what we're looking for as we head towards course season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go-to age groups here, got to be 5 and 6 year olds. They've won 16 of the last 19. Be daft not to, really, then, wouldn't it? So we've got Alexi, Affadil, Indemnity, Dancing Glance, Fasol, High Fibre, Masai Mara. Now, my weight range here has got to be 11 stone plus, and I put 11-1 to 11-11, and that covers 8 of the last 9 winners. We're down to Alexi, Affadil, Indemnity, Dancing Glance, Fasol, High Fibre, and Masai Mara. Now the market. This cuts it right back for us. Says from 5 on the tissue. Got to be from 5 on the tissue. We're down to 2. Alexi and Dancing Glance. That's a 2-horse Dutch then, isn't it?
It is.
Which one wins it? Got to be Alexi, if what I'm seeing in the market is right. This horse has already been punted like crazy. Open 13-2. It's now 7-2 clear favourite. And whilst Dancing Glance hasn't been weak on the tissue, eased half a point, but only because of the money that's come for this Alexi. I'll be all over Alexi like a bad rash.
We haven't agreed on a single race so far. I don't think it's not going to end here either. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a fantastic example of how profiling is done differently by different people.
It is.
I'm not saying Ron is right. I'm not saying I'm right, but we all do things differently.
It's all down to your criteria.
It is. Well, I set mine up for this race. Okay, let's have a look at the past runnings and see what we've got, what we can get to. So I looked at it. Okay, 14 of the last 15 winners were officially rated between 130 and 149. Well, guess what? That gets rid of 9 of them straight away. 14 finished in the first 9 last time out. That loses another one. And none of the 15 winners had raced in the last 15 days, which loses 1 more. Guess how many that leaves me with, Ron? That's right, 1. 1 is all I've got left. And that 1 is Harry Derham's Washington.
All right.
Yep, won his first 2 starts last season after arriving from the Paul Nicholls yard. Went off the boil a bit after that. Came back with a victory at Chepstow of £4 lower. So he's looking to repeat last year's 2 wins, and then maybe he does go off the boil after that. I don't know. He should strip fitter now. He's got a £4 weight rise. That's nothing too punitive, really. He's had 7 career victories today under rules. He fits all the rules, ticks all the boxes, and none of the others do. I've only got to make a comparison, so I have no trouble at all. Washington, I'm going each way again because he's I think he's about 8-1. So again, right. Happy with that. Washington each way, 310 Ascot, very happy. In fact, far too happy. It means they've got no chance. But yeah, go through it, and there's no reason why he can't go well. So Washington for me, 310 Ascot. I'm getting cold, by the way, and I've run out of soup. So 1 more week to go, I believe. I do. 325 at Newmarket.
325.
Yeah, I've left the horror to the end.
Well, it's traditionally run on heavy and soft ground and won by a horse aged 3 or 4. It's going to be genuine good ground tomorrow by all accounts. Anyway, the horses aged 3 and 4, they account for 7 of the last 8 winners. So I've got to go down that road. I've got no choice. We've got Stingray, Gethin, Mirabeau and Royal Playwright.
Mm-hmm.
Weight ranges, they aren't applied to races like this. So I'm just going straight into the market forces to shorten the list and hopefully produce a winner for us. The last 8 have produced... The last 8 winners, have produced 7 winners from the front 2 on the tissue. And that was, again, that's at the off. It might be different to what it is at this particular moment in time. In the last 8 years, only 1 winner has retained an SP bigger than 7-2. And if you put all that into the blender, out comes Gethin, the only horse that can possibly win this race. Round about 6-4 favourites as I speak. It's 9-2 bar that one. He's got to be my stats selection. There's no other choice. It's Gethin. Get in, Gethin.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
We haven't agreed on a single race through the entire day, which is a rarity. We usually double up on at least one of them.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We doubled up on one last week. The finish tailed off.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was pandemonium.
Maybe literally. Maybe it's a good thing then. Now, Bolster won this last year as a 4-year-old for Colbert, but he hasn't won in 5 starts since. He could hit the places. Gethin seems less ground dependent. He's won on heavy and he's won on good ground. Head second at Saint-Cloud on very soft, which equates to heavy at least. He could have improvement to come after only 3 starts. The betting suggests he does, to be fair.
Yeah.
But he's no better on the official ratings than Royal Playwright, so he's going to need to improve. And yet, Royal Playwright is available at what, 3, 4, 5 times the price? 11-2 compared to 7-4. He won a Class 2 condition stakes at Goodwood last time out. He won't be able to place in this listed event. He finished 3rd at Windsor in the Group 3 Winter Hill Stakes in August. So he's proven up to listed company. There's no problems there. Andrew Balding has his horses in reasonably good form, arriving in winning form as well. 11-2. I'm back in each way. It's one of those kind of days.
Each way again, yeah. Why not?
It's just one of those kind of days.
This time of year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's never a deliberate thing. I don't go looking for, I must find one at 5-1 or bigger. I just find the horses I like the look of in the races we're going to do. And if they happen to be each way, there's nothing worse than saying win on them all and they all finish second at 8-1, 7-1 and 6-1 and no one collects a penny. That would be a little bit frustrating, wouldn't it? So that's that for me. I believe we have our something for the weekend. Are we going to do that before we do our demystification or afterwards?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, something for the weekend.
Go for it.
Alexi.
Wow.
It'll be Alexi. It would have been Alexi anyway, but that market move as well as simply rubber stamped it for me.
You're very keen on that one. I don't hope you're.
Yeah.
Because I tipped against it. But good luck with that one. Mine's Precise in the 11:05 at Del Mar tonight. I think she could be.
All right.
I think she could be pretty special.
Not just going to type this in.
Yeah, and when you consider I picked loads of 7-to-1, 8-to-1 shots each way, I don't mind going for one that's just slightly odds against for the banker of the week, so to speak. So precise 11:05 p.m. Del Mar tonight, being Friday, for you.
Done.
Done. Right, demystification one. I'm Dutching this.
Yeah, Dutching. Oh, I've been Dutching since clogs were invented.
Oh,
Basically, what it is, you look at a race. Nobody knows what horse is going to win a race. You can gauge to some extent which horses aren't going to win a race. So then, similar to the way a bookmaker prices up a race, what you do then is you see the odds for the horses you think may well win the race, and then you see if you can get a profit from it by backing all of those horses using a stake. Say it's 10 quid. Say your stake is 10 quid. And you can then calculate how much you need to put on each horse based on their current tissue price to produce the same amount of profit whichever one of those horses wins. Generally, I'm looking to Dutch no more than 3 horses. And that's why I use my ratings primarily. But now the markets have become such a force that I'm having to marry up my ratings to the markets before I even contemplate having a bet. But yeah, what Dutching then does is, as I say, if whichever one, say you've done 3 horses, you spread a tenner across them, and say each horse is the same price, and you've staked £3.33 on each horse. Whichever one of those horses wins, you get the same amount back, and it will produce a profit of 20, 30, 40%. A lot of people, I've had some people say to me, I'm not that desperate to back a winner to be betting 3 horses in a race. And my answer to that would be, how desperate are you to put food on the table? Do you see what I mean? For me, it's pretty much like playing the stock market. If you were playing the stock market, you wouldn't just go on with your 1,000 quid and put it all into BT. You'd be breaking it up between BT and Asda and Sainsbury's and Ford and things like that. So you've got a little bit of a portfolio. And then you hope that one of those produces enough profit to be paying you a dividend, which is basically what a Dutch is. You're looking to make a profit out of a race by backing X number of horses. I've backed as many as 5 in a race before, and I've made 13 quid because one of the 5 has won. Before the race, I didn't know which one was going to win. Now I do, and I've got me a little bit of profit. That puts food on the table for that particular evening. That's the way I look at my betting. Now, we had a company called Aztec Gold, used my figures. I taught them how to Dutch. They produced a software that would calculate what the Dutch had to be based on X number of horses, but it would then also go one stage further and detect which staking level to apply, because you wouldn't just Dutch the same amount every race. If your profit on a race was only going to be 10%, then you probably say to yourself, right, I'll stake £30 on that race instead of a tenner, because you want to make a little bit more profits, and the odds are very much in your favour that you're going to, if there's only a 10% profit, the odds are very much in your favour that you're buying a bit of money. And that's something we'll come on to again at another point. And that's the way I work. I'm looking to buy some money off every race that I work on, even if it's a couple of quid. What Aztec Gold did was they started with a betting bank of £1,000, and after 2 years working purely with the work that I produce, they had a profit in their bank of £40,000. And what they had to do, because their software went bonkers once it reached a certain point in profit, they had to start extracting 5k when the bank got to 6, because otherwise what their software would do was put the £6,000 on the next race.
Oh,
I know, and it happened once, and the favourite won at about 1-4. They got away with that one, and I said, what you've got to do now is work out where you need to be withdrawing your pot. And they ended up making 8 withdrawals of £5,000 over 2 years.
Nice.
and they never once had to top that bank up.
Amazing. Amazing.
It
I
is amazing.
add on the Dutching side.
But as I say, I've been Dutching now since clogs were invented, and the mouse danced on the stairs.
Yeah, but I have to add, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. No, it's like I say.
If you don't want
Most
to do
people
that,
want
don't.
the winner of a race,
Yeah.
and that's all they want.
Yeah.
I've lost members because Dutching baffles them, basically. I've now got a tutorial on the Post Racing website regarding Dutching. You have to be working with a PC or a laptop. Your handheld devices won't work when it comes to actually using the Betfair website to calculate what your Dutch should be.
All right.
And it goes through every step you need to take to Dutch your bet. It's very simple. It's very profitable. And yet, sometimes you'll lose and sometimes you'll win buttons. But I tell you what, I'd rather have a big bag of buttons at the end of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
It's that simple. I can understand it. So it's really obviously going to have a look. Feel free.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people do.
No.
Some people like. Some people won't like the fact I've suggested some each way selections because they only like to back win bets.
They only want to back a winner, yeah?
Others will be saying, well, where's a lucky 15 for the weekend? Which one's the 15? Because they like to do a lucky 15 every Saturday.
Yeah.
We can't keep everybody happy. I mean, that's how Ron works, and if he's making those kind of figures, it's hard to criticise, isn't it, really? But yeah.
I've made my living doing it for the last 21 years. And I taught myself how to do this without the aid of a Betfair calculator 21 years ago. And I've not looked back. I've not worked a day in my life since, other than getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do this and going to bed at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
No sympathy. Don't send him chocolates or flowers. He doesn't deserve them, trust me. Okay, well, that's our demystifying for this week.
Yeah.
I think, although it's a little bit shorter than it was last week, considering how many subjects we had to discuss, we seem
Well,
to
we're coming up for 52 minutes. I thought it'd be longer than this. I really did.
we've whistled through it because I think we've agreed on far too many things. We'll try not to do that again.
Yeah.
Can't stand agreeing with you on. It's terrible. So we've got our tips for the weekend. We've done our demystifying. We've talked the hind legs off a donkey, and I guess it's time to sign out.
It is. Andy, get your third can, mate.
You won't have drunk the first one at this speed. We're rattling through it. Drink faster, Andy. Drink faster. Right. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm not going to sit here and waffle anymore for you. We are, as far as I'm concerned, I think we're back next week.
We are.
The plan is to do them every week if we can. There will be occasions when Ron can't. There will be occasions when I can't. So please don't write in and give us some abuse for not being there.
Where's the podcast? Yeah.
Or more likely write into abuse for the fact that we are there. But we'll wait and see. Okay, have a good weekend. May all your bets be winning ones. They can't be for Ron's and mine because we've got different ones in every race. But hopefully we found you a few winners between us, and we'll report back in next week and see you then.
Yep. All the best. Take care.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.